I'm thinking with Superboy Prime, the reason that stuck and will stick is because that's a character that they hadn't used in 30 years, and so it wasn't like he had this tremendous fan base, and B, there was already so many other versions of Superman that it's not like you're ruining the one version of this character. Like with Hal Jordan, it's the Hal Jordan, and it's the one and only Hal Jordan. It's not like Hal Jordan from this other reality who becomes evil. It's our Hal Jordan, and so that's why people will get angry. And Hal Jordan had been around for 30 years when they made him evil. So like I feel like maybe that's why it sticks with Superboy Prime, because they hadn't been using him in so long, and they brought him back only to turn him into a villain. And then we had other Supermen that, and then of course he kills two of them, but like we had our Superman who is still maintaining his heroic integrity.
Well, and I've also never had a problem. You mentioned the internet's least favorite scene in all of Harry Potter when he like yells instead of saying it calmly. Like, I don't know. Like, I get why in the book he said it calmly, because that was very much part of his character. And then they made a character choice to have him yell it as they're coming down the stairs. I don't know. I don't think it's that big of a deal. It's like the silliest little thing to zero in on when there's so much that has changed from book to screen in these books.
Yeah. No, I agree. It's just one of those things where I'm like, that moment I do remember going like, oh, that's a weird choice.
Yeah, it's not the most graceful choice, but it also is like, it's just funny to me that the internet has like latched onto that moment as like the cardinal sin of all Harry Potter is that he yelled instead of like, I forget what the actual wording is, but like asked quietly or like calmly asked or whatever.
Mm-hmm. I mean, I think what it is people don't know how to intellectually talk about movies, and so like one person will point out kind of a valid criticism, and then everyone latches onto that, and
Shots
just
fired.
instead of using it as an actual argument, they just, instead of like inventing an argument for themselves or trying to make a well-reasoned point, they just latch onto one argument that someone pointed out. That's just, the general public not understanding film criticism.
Dear Harry Potter people that are coming to this video simply because it's Harry Potter, please do not kill us in the comments for disagreeing with you.
Hey,
Amen.
Shit, I'm a Star Wars fan. You haven't even seen the Last Jedi debates. Luke drank blue milk from a alien teat. That's the like cardinal sin against the Star Wars franchise.
Oh God, we're just offending everybody in this podcast.
Fuck it, burn the bridges. So the joke, I'm just saying. How did that land for you, or did it at all?
It hit me as a cute pun.
Okay. Because that's a line they've used a number of times throughout Dragon Ball Z Abridged.
Yeah.
And it's multiple characters have said it, and it's it's just ridiculous. And so to see like that running gag brought in to this, I was like, all right, I'll give you one. The other thing that like I'm worried about it becoming is, I want this to really more stand, just as a fan, I feel this is stronger if it stands almost entirely on its own and doesn't have much like reference to really anything. Like, I really don't want references to the mainline continuity or inside jokes to GT, just because I feel that kind of cheapens the quality of this to a degree. I feel that kind of rubbishes it. And so, like seeing that in there, I was like, all right, I'll give you one. What kind of like worried me under it all is Goku's a fucking blockhead, just no matter how you slice him.
Yeah. But
in DBZA, Goku is like excessively blockheadish, and they're not quite touching him to that level here, but it's got a little bit of like, I can tell that he's definitely got a strong influence from DBZA as he's writing Goku in here. Like, oh, maybe one day she'll be like her mother. Blonde?
I mean, that's
yes,
funny.
Kakarot. Yeah, it's funny. There's no denying it's funny. For me, it's just, as a fan of DBZA, it feels a little too much like DBZA. Goku creeping into the writing there is kind of what I'm getting at.
Well, if these are like the creators, or creator from DBZA, that style of writing and that style of humor is going to be there. They can't like change how they make humor for this type of property.
It's interesting you say that, because I think they do quite dramatically here.
Mm-hmm.
Like, the humor in DBZA is very apparent and very signature.
The humor in Abridged is, like, strictly parody.
Mm-hmm.
This is their attempt of how they would really do the show. But that same level of, like, levity and humor for jokes and wit going back and forth, that's probably not going to be too far left of field.
It's just like, so there was the way they write Goku, and then there's, like, again, it's a gag that got brought up in DBZ where everyone talked about Goku stole all of his attacks from other people. And, like, it's a really funny point to make, but, like, that they go through the whole, oh, he's just gonna steal my dad's attacks. I'm like, it feels a little like a crutch, to be honest. It feels like, hey, this is the guy that does Dragon Ball Z Abridged. This guy does Dragon Ball Z Abridged. I'm like, yeah, I get it, and I'm really glad that he's branching out and doing some other stuff that's still related to the fandom. That's really great. I'm just like, I'd like to see him try to do just a really solid standalone take that doesn't feel like it has to reference DBZA in order to justify itself. How'd you feel about the destruction of Kandor? Speaking of Rolgazar.
Kind of heartbroken, but also I'm glad he didn't lead with it. I'm glad Bendis didn't just open issue 1, this guy turns up and kills Kandor, because then alarm bells would be raising, like, oh my god, is he just coming here to, like, destroy every part of the Superman mythos, as some people still fear. But we got 2 issues prior of Superman being Superman and being really well written, great character stuff, with the setup in the background of who this threat is. We keep building him up, and we end issue 2 with him on the way. So naturally, the first thing this guy, if he hates Kryptonians, do is will go to the fortress. Oh look, there are a bunch of living Kryptonians. He will kill them. It just makes sense, and it is terrifying. It is cuts to the core of, because I murdered Krypton is such an abstract thing to Superman himself, because he has been there because it's comics and it's weird, but, like, he's never lived there. He was born on Earth. It's not really his home as he sees it, like, thing. It's not part of his everyday. Kandor is his, like, that's my people. He has a physical reminder to look after every single day to try and help. Having that taken away hurts more than anything to do with the actual Krypton ever could.
Yeah, that I really liked. I also like the effect it has on Supergirl in particular.
Yeah, definitely.
That was pretty harsh and twisted. No lie. So, like, my thing with murdering Kandor is, in any other book, I'd say, okay, it's never gonna stick. The fact that this is Bendis' introduction to action, or to Superman, and the fact that he's obviously going to be doing this run for a considerable amount of time. I don't know if they've said how many issues he plans to stick on for.
I don't know. He normally does go for quite a lot of his runs. Yeah,
this is not going to be like a 30-issue run. That's kind of like the medium length run I feel these days. I mean, I'm kind of sort of expecting him to be on for at least 100 issues, if not more. And that sounds like a lot, but you got to think about it. He left his career at Marvel to come do this, and even though he's set on good terms, I can't help but feel like you'd have a hard time being able to come back.
Yeah.
So, to see him come on to Superman and do this, I feel like this might stick for a long time. We might not have Kandor back ever unless someone goes and gets some Dragon Balls, man.
Well, I think there's I just kind of wait, we'll just wait 10 years from now and they'll all come back with black mullets. But that's just what I see now. Just to see
the return of Kandor.
Yeah. And there's Cyborg Kandor and Kandor Boy just comes down. We have to decide them all.
Which one's the real Kandor?
Yeah. That's the next event, man. I'm calling it right now. You heard it here first, folks.